We're in Princeton TV. We're on the left coast. I'm here with a legend, in my mind at least, and maybe in a lot of other people's minds, Skip E Lowe. Before I even do the introduction, I don't think boredom is, you don't even know such animal. Your life has been very, very varied. And I wrote my own little homage to you. I said that you're an endless voyager in the entertainment world who absorbs and extols and dishes on Hollyweird or Hollywood, a tumultuous ecosystem that's never been tamed. And everyone says, and I've seen some of your stuff on YouTube, you stay true to yourself. You are who you are, you talk, there's no pretensions, no affectations and everything. And
are you the same way, Adam?
Sometimes.
Okay.
If I drink, maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to find, I was going to ask you, I'm trying to find my style.
You're doing fine.
Okay.
That's your style. When you feel good about it, that's your style. Okay?
Yeah, and then you got to maybe, I guess, make it better too. Skip E Lowe. Okay, Skip Lowe has done everything. His timeline in entertainment, he's done vaudeville. He's done movies. He's been an MC in strip joints in Chicago. He's an author. Boys with Betty Grable Legs, and his new book, what's it called?
Hollywood Gomorrah.
And he was at public access when it started in 1978.
No, actually, 78 was it?
That's what your bio said.
Maybe, I think around 76. Okay, whatever.
Really young.
40 years.
I don't even know what Access was. I couldn't spell it. But he's done over 6,000 interview shows. The list of stars is staggering. Aldo Ray, Betty Davis, Orson Welles, Pat Boone, Lynn Redgrave, Dom DeLuise.
Oh, come on, Adam. Do we have to go through all that?
No, but also, the man likes to dish, and I dig it. I dig the dishing. What does he have to say about James Dean? Well, I'm quoting, unless you want to say it. Well, darling, he loved life. Men, women, the 42nd Street scene, the nightlife, the whores, the food. Montgomery Clift, who a lot of actors still have.
That is what life is about, the 42nd Street, Monty Cliffs, and the whole thing, you know. Life is that way. Don't be too serious. Don't take it serious.
Right. And be somewhat of an omnivore. James Dean seemed like an omnivore. Did you know him personally? Or?
Very well. Go read my book, you'll see.
I gotta read your book. Shelley Winters, he said, she was bold, courageous, and caring, very strong lady, who was filled with compassion, just like Eleanor Roosevelt, but she could act.
That's right, she loved Eleanor Roosevelt, because Eleanor Roosevelt had feeling about human beings, about the poor, disabled, and Shelley is that way too. I discovered Miss Winters is very simple, and she taught homeless children acting. Here in Hollywood.
I didn't know that. At the same time?
And no, she was at the actor studio teaching, and then she used to have a class once a week at the Lee Strasberg Institute in Hollywood Boulevard for homeless children, kids.
I hope she didn't take them home though.
No, she took a lot of men home, but not those kids.
What about Orson Welles? Did he try to eat?
My favorite interviewer of all, Orson Welles. Why? Because he had so much to give and say, and he was honest with himself. You know, he tried to make movies and they won't give him money. You have to, in order to do a film, you have to go out there and get money.
Right.
Get the money, and that's very important.
Does Hollywood really spit you out like that? He's one of the groundbreaking directors of our time.
Yes,
and at the end, he was doing those wine commercials at the end to make a buck.
That's right, he did. And he stayed with Peter Bogdanovich, who was another director. He lived with him for a while. That's when I met him in the early 70s. When I just returned from Vietnam, I was entertaining troops here with Martha Ray.
Oh, the USO tour.
No, it was special service.
Oh.
Special service is different. Bob Hope did the USO. I never did that. I did special service shows out in the fields for the boys. Mamie Van Dorn, Martha Ray. Martha and I stayed there. Martha Ray was an absolutely great lady. The boys loved her.
You were in you were in the hot area, the combat zone.
That's right. That's right. But Bob Hope wasn't. He only came to make a film and to collect the money to bring back here to show how we yelled.
That's what Marlon Brando had a quote about Bob Hope, that he was a phony. He would open anything, even a shopping center. It was all about Bob.
Right.
If you could help him out, he was a friend. So as soon as you couldn't help him out, you didn't hear from him.
You're right. That's right.
Brando was right about that?
Brando was right about everything. I met Brando when he was on Broadway In my book, you'll read it. It's in Hollywood Gomorrah,
Right.
about the sex lives of the stars. And when I say sex lives of the stars, that's going from Troy Donahue, a wonderful actress we had there, and I will let you read the book. You'll see.
But again, you can give us a few samples. Donahue, Rock Hudson, they're all set up on the same agent, tab hunter.
Yes, same one. And that guy was gay, and he gave their names. And but Tab Hunter was totally himself. But Troy Donahue wasn't. Troy Donahue was married to Susan Pichette. In my book, I claim that when he got married at the Beverly Hills Hotel at the Polo Lounge, he went upstairs to the bedroom, and she decided to go shopping. And he stayed in and drank, got drunk. And then she came back, she found him in bed with the pool boy.
You got the pool boy in bed that fast?
That's right. Only when he was a drunk, Troy became bisexual.
He kind of came out of his little closet.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Right now. No, it's not terrible.
No, but he had to live that way.
Yeah, but
back in that day, right?
Yeah. But then he became straight. He stopped drinking alcohol. Go to AA meetings. All those people, AA meetings they try everything. They did everything.
With Donahue, do you think any of them were good actors, or they're just a byproduct of the Hollywood system, though?
Hollywood system.
Really?
Troy was very good. He was a friend of mine. I loved Troy, but he was a boy from New York City. Came here, got lucky, and that was it.
What about we're talking about Brando, though. Do you feel the charisma of Brando, the complicated soul?
Complicated. Brando's bisexual. People don't know that. Brando was very bi. He was going with.
I thought he just dabbled occasionally.
Well, read my book. It tells you about Brando. The girl, the belly dancer from Istanbul, called me up in Samir, Nasa. She was living on 28th Street and working the belly club there. And as she was working the belly club, she met Brando, and she went to the St. Moritz Hotel. She called me and says, "Go get a cucumber." Cucumber? Yeah. I went to get a cucumber at the store. Yes, the cucumber.
Sounds
That's
ominous.
what he wanted. He wanted it. You remember that picture he did in Paris? That wonderful movie he did in Paris?
No.
Oh, yes.
I'll probably come.
Yeah, go ahead. But that's what Brando was all about. He loved the Indians, took care of them. He takes care of. I knew his son.
Palestinians. You got Christian Brando a job?
In Italy, yeah, I did. And Marlon was very curious.
Why?
Because he didn't want him to. No, he didn't want him to act. He didn't want him to be in the business. Christian was like a little construction worker. Actually, he was a tree surgeon, and that's where he met my friend Bill Cable.
That's where his natural calling, so to speak.
Yes, that's his natural calling. And I met him with Bill Cable and a few other people.
Well, did Marlon? It's rumored I had some. Laurence Olivier and Marlon Brando had knocked it off.
This I don't know.
Two of the great. Who else? You can give us some names.
This I don't know.
Tyrone
Power was Cesar Romero. Yes. Caesar Butch. His name was Butch. When I interviewed him, everybody called you Butch. No, he says only Tyrone Power calls me Butch.
Oh my God! So I just knew Cesar Romero as a kid, as the.
He's a wonderful actor.
Yeah,
wonderful
he was very
guy.
good.
He lived with his wife, his mother. He stayed with his mother. He loved his mother, and he took good care of her until he died. And he used to go with Sybil Brand. Sybil Brand is a lady here in Los Angeles, has a prison called the Sybil Brand Prison for ladies, for girls, and they donated it. She was a wonderful lady, and she and Cesar Romero used to go out all the time.
That was like his day.
Yeah,
like you go out with Mamie Van Doren?
I go out with Mamie, yes.
She's beautiful now, though.
Still gorgeous. She's in her 80s, and she's absolutely gorgeous.
Going back to didn't Cesar Romero know Mr. Blackwell, who knew Cary Grant and those characters?
He knew them all. Matter of fact, until they died, I knew Mr. Blackwell extremely well. He just died.
Was his taste in clothes? Was he was like the auditor of fashion? Is that
Well, in his mind, he was. Okay, let's leave it like that.